Hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. First video in quite a while here. And so, yeah, joining me are the usual people. We got Pory and I and Civilian Arc. Civilian Arc who doesn't have his camera on for who knows what reason. So, how
I
are you
have
both
my
doing
shirt
today?
off.
I'm chilling, I'm doing good. Just hanging out. This is my first time on the podcast with the new room, I think. Because I think the last time I was in my old room. This is the new
Probably.
setting. But yes, hello. I'm doing good. And yeah, we haven't talked since Robot won the championship in 2020, so it's chill. How are you, Civilian Art?
Uh, Life. That's all I gotta say to that.
Solid. Yeah, my semester of college is over, and I competed in a combat robotics tournament for the first time with the first robot I've ever built myself, which was quite fun and stuff.
It's like I
So,
can't wait to see the videos. Subscribe for videos of that, by the way, if you're
yep,
watching.
I plan on posting both of my fights in that tournament. Is that yeah, I had two fights, and who knows what people will think of it.
It'll be fun, I'm sure.
But yeah, we got a request to review lots of the bounties, so we are planning to review the bounties on the Icewave and Bronco here in this video. As usual, there won't be any videos as I don't want to deal with copyright personally. I don't care what Pory or Civilian or any of the viewers tell me. I'm not showing any videos. And as well, this
All under
video
fair
will
use.
be full of spoilers if you haven't seen any of at least the fights. So yeah,
Yeah,
you guys ready for the first one?
no.
Well, too bad we're going to the next one.
Come on, man.
So, oh yeah, I'm not going in any particular order in this one, like how I would with like the fight cards. So we're gonna lead it off with Scorpios and Black Widow, cause I say so. So, so in this one, we saw Scorpios' new weapon configuration for the first time, and I believe, if I remember right, the only time where they came in with
Yeah.
a combo of a pickaxe and a flamethrower for this battle, where they fought Black Widow, a bot whom we haven't seen in the regular season. However, they were in an exhibition fight with Mammoth and an untelevised fight with Rampage, which Battlebot supporters have seen, and
Rampage is
stuff.
robbed.
I'll trust
Sorry.
Pori on that because I actually haven't seen the fight yet. But as of what I'm hearing, that sounds reasonably accurate. So
He's
yeah.
a good.
What do you guys got on this fight?
Um, well, I'm pretty sure this was the first fight of the episode, so you got that right. I could be
It
misremembering,
was.
but
It was.
it
I
was,
think
yeah.
it was.
I mean, it was a fun fight. It was fun to see Scorpios with the pickaxe configuration, the fire. I think the fire configuration was made by the Taskbot guy, which is cool. It's exciting to me to see because I'm a fan of speed running and seeing speed running and BattleBots like combine in the Scorpio scene. That's neat. But yeah, I mean it was a good fight and Black Widow held its own. I mean it survived the fight and it had a few moments where it got underneath and controlled a little bit. I mean for being a shed build, I mean Black Widow isn't bad.
Yeah.
Yes, we saw so many moments where Black Widow was able to get underneath Scorpios, like when those two went head on, but then lots of Scorpios' big moments mostly led to Zack Lytle just out driving Black Widow, I think, which led
Yeah.
to a lot of the big hits that Scorpios managed to get with that pickaxe, as they managed to do quite a bit of damage to the outer part of Black Widow here. And I think the flame actually did a sufficient amount of damage there, as I think Scorpios really knew what they were doing when they were wanting to who try out with this configuration. I think Black Widow was a great opponent for a configuration like that.
Yeah, I mean, they feel like they probably realize, like, no offense to Black Widow, but they probably realize, like, yeah, we could show up with this fight with just the wedge and probably win. So they figured, oh, let's experiment with the new part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got anything civilian?
Uh, I'm glad Scorpius won because I have a fear of spiders.
That was
What's
not
it?
exactly
Uh,
the reason I was expecting, but yeah,
Are you
that's
afraid of spiders?
solid.
They're fun.
because one time a spider bit my dog on the ear.
Ooh.
Yikes. Yeah, I have a few family members who also have that fear. And so, yeah, he's not like he's the only one who's afraid of spiders.
I used to be.
Arachnophob-
I think they're
arach-
cute.
Arachnophobia is a real thing.
Yep,
Oh yeah, it
it
is.
is.
No doubt. I decided I like spiders now.
So yeah, kind of got the overall summary of this battle here. We saw lots of great moments from Black Widow here, but then Scorpios did end up coming on out on top in the judge's decision. You guys supported that judge's decision, as I personally did support it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Damage. I would say the point scale is 533, right? If I'm
Yes.
remembering correctly.
Correct.
It's been
Yeah.
a while. Damage. I'd actually say 3-2 Black Widow. If I'm being actually honest with myself,
Did I hear your reasoning behind that? Not that I'm disagreeing with you or anything like that.
it's because I feel like just Black Widow, just because if it's spinner damage, it did the Scorpios. Scorpios didn't really do
Didn't
much
Black Widow get
damage.
pounded in by the pulverizers though?
Nah,
Didn't they? Didn't they get like didn't they get like severely dented in by the pulverizers in this fight?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the pulverizer or if it was Scorpios' weapon that
No, I
was,
think
I
they
don't.
but
I think at like the
yes,
end of
they
the
did
fight they
get
took him to the
severely
pulverizer mic.
dented,
It was
like
like
in that battle.
yeah.
Yeah, pulverizer honestly does sound right.
I think
But
Scorpios did a
then,
little bit of it, but I do remember pulverizer like actually like
but then, like control and aggression, I give everything else to Scorpios. So yeah, I'd say like 8-3 Scorpios.
Solid.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. If I scored the battle, I'd probably go 3-2. But for Scorpios, no, yeah, Black Widow did have a ton of great moments with that drum spinner, but I'm not sure how much damage they exactly did to Scorpios. Other than if I remember right, there was smoke coming out of Scorpios towards the end of the fight, I think,
Yeah,
and
I think so.
yeah, the manage of dent, the high number of dents, and just how messed up like the top of Black Widow was coming out of that battle is kind of what's leading me towards that. But you could very easily go the other way. You could very easily make some arguments on that and stuff. So aggression and control, I'd go 2-1 for Scorpios. Civilian arc is definitely right that Civilian Arc's definitely right that Scorpios definitely won those categories. As Zach Lytle has been aggressive like all season. Like he's a great driver and stuff. Like
Yeah.
he shows lots of aggression. He was showing a lot of that here in this fight and definitely won those. I think because of the few moments that Black Widow did have where they got underneath Scorpios would give them a control and aggression point, but you could
Yeah.
very easily make that argument. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else from you guys or next battle?
You're good.
Next
we can
battle
vote.
is where we got P1 and Tracer for this one. And Civilian Arc turned his camera on for once.
Hi, civilian arc.
Yeah, hi
Hi,
Civilian
hi,
Arc.
hi, Green.
Hi
Wow.
Miles.
You don't even say hi to me? Okay. I see how it is.
Oh, hi, Battlebots collector.
Hello.
Ooh, different identity.
I know, like secret follow me on Instagram, which I never post on.
But yeah, so we got P1 and Tracer up next here, which of course was a battle where we saw some drama on the internet over here between the judge's decision that happened between these two here. And yeah, which we'll definitely share our opinion on that one. And yeah, so we saw a really early flip from P1 that flipped Tracer over, But then following that, like overall, quite close of a fight between those two, as for what I remember or from this. And yeah,
Yeah.
what do you two got on this fight?
I mean, it was an okay fight. I mean, well, he didn't. I don't think he flipped him over. He just like those spiky things on the side. One of them was on top of the screw, and like Tracer didn't have its wheels touching the ground, and it was stuck.
Oh,
See,
I
yeah, I haven't
remember it.
seen that. I haven't seen this fight in quite a while. So yeah,
yeah.
what?
Um, but yeah, I feel like a lot of people do say that Tracer should have won this, but like pretty much all Tracer did was do damage, and that wasn't really Tracer like being aggressive and doing the damage. I was like P1 getting struck by the spinner as it was being aggressive the whole time. I mean, it. I feel like it's pretty much night and day that P1 won this fight, and Tracer just kind of like the damage is impressive and all, but at the same time, it's like P1 is just was bullying it around like the entire fight, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
personally didn't have a problem with the judge's decision either. And of course, though, even with all the internet drama, like Tracer or their captain has come in and with all that drama and showed that he was a completely good sport about this whole judge's decision and stuff. Like he supported the judge's decision and knew exactly like why they picked P1, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really seem to bother him at all, which is of course a good thing. And
Yeah,
here
he seemed like he was
here
having fun. I mean,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
and another thing with this fight is that P1 could have very easily just let Tracer chill on the screws and get counted out, but they were
Yes,
good sports and they knocked him back
yeah.
down because they wanted the
that
fight to
too.
continue.
All of that is accurate. So
Uh, Now, okay, so damage, I'd say 4-1 Tracer,
Yeah.
because I can't give all points to Tracer just because, like, like, P1 did use its weapon a few times, and I get that lifters can't do damage, but, like, I feel like P1 should get a damage point for at least flipping Tracer over
I'd support
once.
that.
Control, all 3 points easily go to P1 for that.
Yeah.
Like, and then aggression, I'd say 2-1 P1, so that's 6-5 for P1.
Yeah, that's about where I am on that.
Same here.
Right.
So yeah, P1 advanced on this one by a judge's decision. Anything else from you two, or should we get to this next battle?
Well, I just want to say one thing. I'll need to stop dissing on that race car, man. That race car is gonna fight Tantrum in the 2021 championship.
Bro, what are you going on about? Ribot's going all the way. We're gonna have a Ribot Mobius final.
Just like
I do have
how,
one thing to say. Justice for P1.
yeah, but also Tracer is blue. Yeah, I don't got much for Tracer.
I love P1 though. I hope they come back.
I hope both of them come back because I think both designs have potential.
I'm
Yeah,
worried
Also,
P1.
Tracer won't get in because it doesn't really have a whole lot to it that's unique. Because like how many 4-wheel drive verts are there?
It's just a generic word,
But
kind of.
I feel like I do like Tracer, and if they did come back, I would be happy to see them. I just think that with the how condensed this upcoming season seems to be, I'm worried that Tracer's not going to quite make the cut.
Hey, is it gonna be more condensed than 2020?
I think it's gonna, from what I hear, it's gonna be like, I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm hearing secondhand sources on the internet, so I could be very wrong. They might have like a 500 robot field for all I know, but like from what I hear, it's probably going to be like slightly larger than last year's field. Obviously, there's ones that aren't going to enter, like Bale Spear isn't bothering to enter. I'm sure there's a Black Widow probably won't enter. There's a few that definitely won't enter, but then there's a few that I feel will enter but might not necessarily get in, like Tracer and Pain Train is one that comes to mind. Although I do hope they come back. I like both those robots.
Yeah.
definitely. I got one thing in response to those that arguing you guys were doing. Guess who's 16-0? These two bounties.
Listen, friend, I want to
Oh,
hear it.
I want to hear it, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I had perfect. I perfectly predicted both of these brackets. So if you're wondering what I mean by that,
I pretty much had this one. Yeah, the final. I figured it was going to be one of the two finalists that won it all, so I didn't do bad.
next up we got the untelevised battle here. We got Hypershock and Sporkanock here, and there's not really a lot we can really say about this one because we haven't gotten to see the full fight between these two, as they only showed highlights of this battle. I'm not sure whether it was because of time for the bounty or just because it was like that lame of a fight or something like that. I don't know which it
I
is.
heard.
I hope it's not
I
the
heard it was
second
a pretty
one.
lame. I
And
heard it was a pretty lame fight. Well, I do wish. I do think it's going to end up being lost media based on how they distributed the basement fights.
yeah. But yeah, pretty much some of the stuff we heard about this one was like Hypershock. I didn't think they lost their weapon early in this battle, but then
Yeah.
managed to control like almost the entire fight, and Sporkanock managed to survive the full 3 minutes, and yeah.
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 So, thoughts from you two on this?
Well, from what I hear, both robots were working pretty poorly from the get go, and then like I want to say Hypershock Spinner wasn't spinning from the get go, and then I think there was like one point where it decided to start spinning finally, and then like I know it did a lot of damage to like the spork because like I want to say Sporkanock's thing like the spork part is like plastic or something, and then like you can see like the pink hammer there. It's like a pretty much like a like a spiked hammer, just like decorated to look like a spork. And I think they tore apart that part, and then like that was like the fight. It was just it seemed like both robots were really struggling to move functionally throughout this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you got, civilian?
It's kind of hard to describe this fight just because, this fight
How would
was
you
on
score
air.
this fight if since it went to the judges?
Double loss.
At least civilian got that. It was kind of this. That was kind of a joke
Yeah.
and
But,
stuff.
I mean, Skorkanak was at least working as a bot. Yeah.
Got to give Sporkanock
Did,
credit for surviving the full 3 minutes. As I think I would call Hypershock like Spork. Well, not sure who would be its tougher opponent between Hypershock or Sub Zero, but either way,
Probably
Hypershock's a really tough
Sub-Zero.
opponent. Like Will Bales is a great driver and stuff. Like you gotta give Sporkanock a lot of credit for being able to survive the full 3 minutes with Hypershock here.
Yeah,
I would say Sub-Zero just because of how weird Hypershock's wedge scheme is this year.
Possible.
yeah, yeah. I hope Sporkanock comes back next season though. I really do. They're one of my favorites.
I hope so too. Now Sporkanock is a real it might not have done so well this season, but it's a really cool design.
Like
And
that's one of the. I think that's like the first time we've gotten like. Well, besides like Waiachi bots, this is like the first non-Waiachi bot to be dual weaponed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or like modern
uh,
Battlebots.
do you
Eh,
count wedges as weapons?
No.
Okay. Otherwise, I was gonna say
Well,
Sidewinder's an option.
are we talking like lifting? Oh well, yeah.
Disco
Sidewinder was just
Inferno
a
would
spinner.
count if you count lifters in
yeah,
there.
Disco Inferno would.
Oh yeah, Disco Inferno.
But yeah, Sporkanock is like the thing with
Oh, and
Sporkanock is like
Whiplash.
Sporkanock is a month build. It's one of the month build. Now, there's like 4 or 5 robots that like were built in a month, and most of them didn't really have a lot of success because it was like a rush build. Like obviously Jackpot was the exception, but like Pain Train and who else was a month build?
Axolotl.
Axolotl, yeah, like see these robots that were built in a month. I can't really fault them for having issues in combat because they were built in
Like,
a month. Like if you put those parts in front of me, I would not be able to build a heavyweight combat robot in a month. I'll tell you that. And I know
Yeah,
for a
no, as I
fact
barely built an
Lilith is
ant weight in
capable.
8 weeks, so
Yeah, and I know for a fact that Lilith is definitely capable of building a functional robot if she had more like time to work with it. So I
definitely,
definitely want Swerkenok to get accepted next season because I want to see what she brings to the table.
without a doubt. Next fight? Question mark. I'm saying yes. Where we
So,
got Deadlift and Ghost Raptor here. As this one was kind of a little bit of a back and forth battle between these two, as we first saw Ghost Raptor land a few nasty shots with that spinner, but then Ghost Raptor's spinner, of course, died once again, and Deadlift really seemed to take over this battle, like pushed Ghost Raptor around, got the flame involved, but then cursed these reliability problems that ended up striking Deadlift here. So
yeah, they would have won that if they hadn't died out.
yeah, I'd agree
Deadlift is
with that.
another one of those robots that I'm worried about them actually getting back in because their night fights weren't very impressive. But hopefully the bounty performance will make the selection committee be like, this thing might be a good idea because I really like Deadlift. It's a really sleek design. It's really cool. They're very well driven. And from what I hear, that lifter can lift quite a bit. Like you could like put like a 250-pound robot on the top of it, and it could like drive around balancing it on top because obviously like weightlifting is the shtick of them. They're all like buff like dudes. But yeah, this was definitely a good performance on Deadlift's part. If they probably would have won it if they hadn't died. Ghost Raptor got some good hits early on, but other than that, they were definitely being controlled a good amount.
You got anything
yeah.
civilian arc since
Um, why did Deadlift have to lose, man? Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, Ghost Raptor. It's nice to see Ghost Raptor do damage. The spinner. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
Like the fact that it was managed to do that to like end Deadlift's lifter at least shows that Ghost Raptor spinner is good again. Oh, not you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Ghost Raptor
definitely.
is. I mean, I've said
But
I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but like Ghost Raptor, it's like it's a good spinner and it's objectively a well built robot. Because I mean, Chuck Pitzer's been in the game since the '90s. He knows what he's doing. But I still have the opinion that Ghost Raptor has too many moving parts for it to be competitively viable. Like as you could see in its fight with Jackpot, how it like got pretty much split in half. Like that's because there's just so many moving parts. Like it's probably better to be like more of a brick in BattleBots than it is to be something like this. And I feel like Ghost Raptor would benefit from either being a lifter or being a horizontal. I think the pivoting horizontal thing kind of is difficult to master.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's yeah, Ghost Rap. Yeah, because Chuck was originally built lifters, like when
Yeah.
Battlebots was controlled by Comedy Central in the early
Mm-hmm.
2000s, and he was runner up in multiple lightweight classes.
oh yeah,
As
yeah,
in, yeah, which
Chuck
is one big
Pitzer,
reason why Chuck Pitzer is like such a legend here in the sport. And then of course he added a spinner, and that's the spinner and lifter combo is kind of what makes Ghost Raptor unique, but I completely support Pory, where I think Ghost Raptor would be a much more reliable bot if it only had one of the spinner or lifter. But I'm
yeah,
very
like
curious like
he
what
showed up.
BattleBots would really think about that, just because it kind of removes like the uniqueness Ghost Raptor has compared to like the rest of the competitive field, and we know like unique designs is something like BattleBots loves to see here in this competition, and Ghost Raptor definitely has like one of those designs.
Yeah. Well, with I mean, look at Bite Force. Bite Force started out as like like a clamper bot, a suplex bot. Then they made a name for themselves, and they just went with whatever design they felt like, and they became another vert. So
Exactly.
it wouldn't be out of the question. I don't think they would reject Ghost Raptor if they were like, oh, here, or this is Ghost, the what the fourth Ghost Raptor, but it's like basically Gamma Raptor that's heavy, pretty much. Because I mean, Chuck Pitzer, like he knows, they know that he can put on a good show with a lifter. I mean, Chuck Pitzer is probably the most successful BattleBots competitor who hasn't actually won BattleBots, either him or Steven Felk. I would say, because they both made the finals a bunch of times and had a lot of success, but never went quite all the way because there's always someone in the way.
Hey, who's Steven Felk again?
Voltronic.
Ah, oh yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
they both made the finals like two or three times each, and made the semifinals once or twice each, and they just kind of never quite went all the way. So I mean, I feel like he has the reputation that he could probably show up to BattleBots with anything he wanted, and as long as it had an active weapon, they'd be like, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Like Chuck is like a legend in the sport, which is kind of like what Pory was trying to say there, I believe would like guarantee Scorpio or not. I don't know why I said Scorpios there. Guarantee
Okay.
Ghost Raptor a spot. Even though I think Scorpios would definitely get guaranteed a spot because they've been a major threat to a lot of competitors all
Oh yeah, Scorpio's
throughout their
always.
career.
Yeah, especially predictions.
Yep.
Except for me and Porto.
Yeah. The only one of Scorpios' fights I predicted incorrectly was the Tombstone fight. And
Wow.
Wow. I predicted it would.
although I did pick them to beat Bloodsport though, if that semi evens it out.
Not
Wow.
really.
And I also picked Scorpios to win this bounty here.
A
Wow.
lot. Yeah.
By the way though, anything else from you two on this battle?
No.
Yeah, we'll see Deadlift in another podcast. Hopefully Deadlift returns is it might not have done well in the regular season, but it showed a lot of potential and during the bounties and had a few great performances during it.
It went 1-1 in
Hmm.
the regular season, so that's not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one is first between these two, but
This is what we're
Hypershock and
going.
Ghost Raptor is the first one we will discuss, where Hypershock might not have performed well in its fight with Sporknock, but it sure did perform well in this fight, and yeah, I'm not sure which fight it performed better in between this fight or the Mammoth one, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say here in this one.
I'd probably say this one.
Yeah. Because Mammoth, I'm not surprised. Mammoth lost. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is Mammoth. Ghost Raptor could have beat Hypershock. I couldn't see Mammoth beating Hypershock.
I can see Mammoth like yeeting Hypershock out of there.
And like the fact that Ghost Raptor's entire blade was like cut in half, like what happened with Complete Control all those years ago, was
Oh yeah, that was
surprising to
fun.
see.
Yeah, that was fun. See, the thing with Hypershock that's always been very fascinating to me is that Hypershock in every fight it's pretty much ever been in, it's either been at 0 or it's been at 100. Like it'll show up to one fight and like not work at all, and then like it'll get another fight like in the next episode, and then it'll just be like wailing on the opponent and like dominating it. Like you can even see it this season. Like with Sporkanock, it wasn't quite there, and then with Ghost Raptor, they were just like all over Ghost Raptor and doing the thing.
Yeah,
Like Chris and Kenny were even like talking about that for them going in for Hypershock going into like this fight in the bounty finals. They're like, is Hypershock going to be at 0 or is it going to be at 100?
Yeah, and it's been like that even in its early days. It was like that. Like, uh, it just either when it loses a fight, usually it just like burns out pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. No, this was probably the most devastating knockout of the night, one of two knockouts of the night, if I remember right, and And yeah,
Yeah.
Hypershock definitely had full control of this match right from the start of this thing. Landed a few nasty shots on Ghost Raptor, and eventually Ghost Raptor stopped moving and was counted out, giving Hypershock the victory by knockout, where they moved on to the final, hoping to get an opportunity to take on Icewave, if a rematch that we never got to see from 2015.
More BattleBots Lost Media, by the way. Subscribe to my channel if you want to watch BattleBots Lost Media, because I'm going to do a video on it eventually. That's a
Should
proper
we?
announcement.
You
Oh,
should
can I
subscribe to
join?
my channel too.
So yeah,
I,
subscribe. Well, I mean, subscribe to the channel you're watching right now first and foremost.
Yeah, of course.
and then subscribe to Civilian Art.
Maybe.
Then subscribe to the Green Square Secret Stash.
Mm.
Then subscribe. Then follow my both my Instagrams.
Wow.
Clever. Alright, next fight before Civilian Art comes up with something else that's quite clever like that. We got Scorpios in P1, which, yeah, you probably can't see Scorpios that well, but that's the only image I could find from this fight, so yeah. Scorpios came in with their spinner once again for this fight here, hoping to get a bunch of devastating shots onto the top of P1 here. And yeah, this one was kind of a brawl for the most part of this battle. Well, I can't really say that because pretty much what ended up happening here, I believe, was P1 just really struggled just to get underneath Scorpios and use that front hinged flipper here. As Scorpios was getting all the action, but then it got a lot closer when Scorpios eventually got flipped over into a position where they couldn't self right, or if they were damaged. Who knows which one of those two options it was? I don't remember, but yeah, this fight ended up going to the judges once again. So judges got a hopefully the judges got paid a lot for all of the fights they had to judge during this bounty. So thoughts on this battle from you both?
It was. I mean, it was a fun fight. I mean, from what I remember, P1's like the wedgelets kept getting like stuck underneath. I wonder how well they would have done if like they either the wedgelets had worked as intended or like they had not had them. Because I mean, especially with that flip at the end, like I'm wondering, like, what if that would have happened like halfway through the fight? Then we'd have a P1 getting revenge on Hypershock, and
Yeah,
but yeah, but it was a fun fight. It was definitely Scorpios' fight to win, but P1 did fare pretty good.
they're as well as a race car fighting a gigantic scorpion would do.
Yeah,
It was nice to see P1 fight like a high tier bot and not lose automatically.
yeah,
Yeah, give P1 quite a bit of credit for surviving the full 3 minutes with an elite bot like Scorpios here.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that
anything else
was
from you guys on this? Or I might as well ask, what do you guys think of the judges' decision between those two?
it was fair.
yeah. I do believe Mr. Scorpion won that fight fair
Yeah,
and square.
Yeah. I would definitely make this battle a lot closer after Scorpios got flipped and wasn't able to move during the last bit of this fight. But yeah, I completely supported the judge's decision on this one, and where Scorpios got a unanimous decision here. So yeah, anything else on this battle then from you both?
I got I got one.
yeah.
Hi, Miles.
Hi Zach Lytle.
Hi, Diana
Carlson.
Tarleson.
Yep.
Carlson.
Hi, Diana Tarleton.
All right. Next battle, where we got a rematch from the 2018 season, and you'd probably notice that that is an image from the 2018 season. I wasn't able to find an image from this fight, so I found this
Oh,
to be a relatively decent substitute for that. So yeah, Scorpios came out with a different armor configuration for this one, and as they set up their front, as kind of like you could kind of say a de-icer or Hydra's bike rack if you so wish, as they set up a front armor configuration and to catch Hypershock's front and prevent their vertical spinner from touching their main frame here, which
Yeah,
I personally think that was a genius strategy from Scorpios there, as it
yeah,
worked to perfection in their favor, and we saw lots of nice stuff. We saw lots of big hits from Scorpios' spinner, and even a few shots from Hypershock's spinner, if I remember right. Right, so,
yeah.
thoughts on this bell from you both?
uh, hi, Green.
Hi, Pory.
High civilian arc. Yeah. So it was a. I mean, it was a fun fight. I mean, Hypershock definitely wasn't running at 100% in it. Uh, my favorite part of the entire thing was that when they were going into the arena, they're like, as a joke, after they exited the tunnel, like they taped like uh, an angle grinder onto the back of Hypershock because that's like an homage to this fight that's pictured.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment. But the fight was fine. I mean, Scorpio's definitely. If I recall correctly, Scorpio both their weapons died. Well, Scorpio's spinner died. It was just kind of like clamping Hypershock the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, and then but then Scorpios was still able to control the fight with their defense configuration, which they were able to do brilliantly in this fight. So,
Yeah.
like seriously, that strategy was pure genius from Scorpios. There is, yeah, they definitely earned that victory and the chance to go take on Icewave for
Oh
the
yeah.
Yeah.
bounty for the portion of the $25,000 that was left after what was already distributed.
Wow.
So was it really 25 grand?
Like I as for what I remember, like everybody who participated, including the legend, got some amount of it, some equal amount of it. I don't remember if it was like 1,000 through 3,000, something like that. Like they all got something like that just for participating.
Yeah.
Then for
It's
all
just
the
so you get a
fights that
larger cut of your
happened,
time.
there was like a $1,000 there was like a
Uh,
one
uh,
thousand dollar like boost or something like that added to their total for winning those battles, and then whoever would win the battle between the bounty hunter and the legend would take home whatever was left of the 25,000. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't remember those exact totals, but yeah, you get the general idea of that.
Mm.
So so yeah, what do you guys think of this judge's decision?
It's fair.
this one.
Yeah, I would agree with the judge's decision. I thought they got it right here in this one once again. And yeah, thought Scorpios once again genius strategy from Zach Lytle, excellent driving from him to take on Hypershock here in this rematch, and excellent win from them. Poor, you look like you're about to try to say something.
Oh no, I was just getting comfy.
Oh,
But while I'm at it, Stinger, come back.
all right. Next battle, where we got Icewave and Scorpios, another rematch from the same season as the last fight. Only difference is I was able to find an image from this fight, so yeah, I used it. And so yeah, I found this fight to be a lot more entertaining than when they fought the first time, as we saw lots of nasty hits from Icewave's spinner, quite a few big hits from Scorpios' spinner as well in this one.
Mm-hmm.
this one was a pretty good fight in the bounty.
I
So
thought this one was better than the 2018 one.
yeah, I like this fight better than the 2018 fight.
I think what I liked about this fight was that going into this bracket, like I feel like well, there were two robots in particular who really had something to prove in this bracket. And that would be Scorpios and Ghost Raptor because they both beat Icewave, but when their wins against Icewave are brought up, people often are like, "Oh, that's not like a real win," like because they complain about the de-icer and they complain about the judge's decision when it comes to
Honest,
Scorpios.
honestly, I think Scorpios won that decision. If I'm being
No, I
honest, I
do.
think
I do too. I agreed with it, but a lot of people disagreed with it. Whether
Yeah,
it's
I'm one
they
of
like
those people who
Icewave,
disagreed with the Scorpios Ice Wave decision. No offense, Scorpios. Like
like
it
here.
was a reasonably close decision,
it was
and
very
I,
close.
I,
But
I
what I like is that Scorpios was able to finally prove, like, okay, that wasn't a fluke. I can actually beat this thing fair and square and like dominate it.
yeah,
yeah, completely
like
agree
I
with that.
I'd say Scorpio Icewave won on damage for the 2018 fight, but Scorpios won everything else
Yeah,
solidly.
because the thing with the original fight was that Icewave was pretty much running away from Scorpios the entire time, like
Yeah,
because they had to get. I mean, I understand why because they had to speed up the blade and running in ice, it spins up slower than a regular spinner, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I might sound
or
stupid saying it. Like it takes a while, so they got to run away while it gets up to speed. And but every time Scorpios just stopped it pretty much and just kept pushing it around.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree with all that stuff Pori said here. As yeah, we saw Ice Wave take a sufficient amount of damage here. Scorpios definitely like the thing that Ice Wave had in their 2018 meeting was the damage category, as they disabled
Yeah,
Scorpios' weapon and even removed a few pieces of Scorpios' front. In this one,
yeah,
Scorpios was the one dealing all the damage, as we have seen smoke coming out of Ice Wave throughout that fight, but then the first part it was like what the bot whisperer was saying, like it was exhaust from Ice Wave's engine. It's the thing that makes Ice Wave unique is the fact that it uses a completely different weapon system that a lot of other teams use, and which is actually
yeah,
where ICE and Ice Wave came from, as ICE stands for internal combustion engine, as you probably know by that. And
yeah. It's
yeah,
the only robot to be made out of gas.
Scorpios ended up destroying that thing, like not as badly as Rotator did, as well, not even close to as badly as what
Yeah,
Rotator did, but Scorpios did a lot of big damage to that thing, and yeah, like what Pori said, like show that they can definitely take it to Ice Wave and cause them a lot of trouble like that.
yeah. They managed to defeat the only robot to be made out of gas.
Yeah,
and the only bot to be made out of ice.
It's true.
ha 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 ha.
The only robot to be made out of scorpions beat them.
And the only bot to be made out of yeah.
Come on, man.
You come on, you're the one who keeps saying Ribot's gonna win the whole thing.
Robot's gonna win.
Tantrum's gonna
Mark my words. You know what? In 9 months from now, I want y'all to come to this podcast talking about the bounty. I want you to quote me on this. Ribot is going all the way in 2021, season 6. We're gonna win it all. We're gonna beat Sawblaze. We're gonna beat Valkyrie. We're gonna beat Mad Catter. We're gonna beat
You can't beat
Black Dragon.
Sawblaze.
We're gonna beat all of those robots. We're gonna dominate them,
Okay.
and we're gonna take out Mobius in the final, and it's gonna be beautiful, and you'll all see.
Like I can at least say that I think Tantrum will have some trouble making it, but
Ribot's going all the way. I believe in the frog.
yeah, I believe in the puncher.
You want to know how I'm
Yeah.
going to respond to that?
Yeah.
Ribot will be the Battlebots 2021 or Battlebots Season 6 Bounty Hunter Champion.
I mean season 11.
Wow.
And Black Dragon
Where
will win it all.
We're
No,
about to.
Black Dragon's never gonna win at all. They might go far. They probably will go far, but
They'll beat Ribot first. They'll beat
no, they
Ribot
won't.
again.
No,
We
we
probably.
gotta. We're gonna get our revenge. We're gonna take out Black Dragon. We're gonna take out Tantrum.
I'm
We're
gonna
gonna take.
see. I'm calling it right now. Black Dragon and Sawblaze are gonna meet in the quarterfinals, and
Here,
Sawblaze is
Battlebots, if you're watching this podcast, you should make
Saw.
one main event be Tantrum and Ribot, another main event be Black Dragon and Tantrum, another main event being Ribot and Black Dragon rematch.
Another main event. Bring me Minotaur.
And
Ooh.
also for the record, I'm calling it now. I bet one of the main events is gonna be Sawblaze Black Dragon. I bet they're gonna meet in a fight night fight.
I wouldn't
It makes
doubt that.
sense
And I
And
because they're
see
both.
Saw.
Sawblaze would definitely be one I'd be very worried about if I was Black
And
Dragon.
I
No offense
see
to the team. Well, it's more like I'd be most nervous about Black Dragon, like taking out that one, compared to not being very nervous about Black Dragon taking out Ribot. And
Well,
yeah,
it makes sense because they're both about the same level of success. They're both dragon themed, and they both haven't fought each other before. So it makes sense that they'll end up fighting this season in a fight night fight.
yeah. All right,
Well, I mean,
so
Warhead is also. Oh wait, no, it's a Dino Head, not a Dragon Head.
Warhead's not going to be in next season.
Warhead, come back.
I would love to see Warhead come back. Like they've had so many entertaining fights.
Oh yeah,
You know who else needs to come back?
who?
Miles.
Sti- Stinger.
Stinger does need to come back. Stinger, please come back.
We should know what we should do.
What?
We should make a fundraiser for Stinger to come back.
We should.
He just wakes up and there's just like a random GoFundMe, like this is for Stinger and BattleBots. He's just like,
Yeah,
I didn't
Civilian Arc,
mean
why don't you start it?
Because I'm broke.
you don't
No,
need
I
money
said
to
start
start
the
a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe page. Who says you need to? Yeah, you.
That's why you start a GoFundMe because you're broke.
Oh
How
shit,
else do you
that is
think
no. Like,
like Pory? How else do you think he paid off that $1 million loss he took in the jackpot rotator fight?
I
Yeah.
won. I won. I literally got the jackpot. I won the lottery.
Wow.
Wow.
I scored a jackpot.
All
Uh,
right,
I don't even know.
time to go on to the next bounty that I predicted perfectly. We
Yeah,
got the.
okay.
Hey, I predicted this one all accurately.
Come
I
on,
got
man.
I got two fights wrong in this.
I'm gonna
I
guess
got
Chomp and Balespear was one of them.
Veilsphere was one of them, and I thought the final before Bronco was going to go the other way, but I did think the winner of that was going to beat Bronco.
I thought that. Then I honestly think Bronco could beat Mad Catter,
They could, but I feel like Mad Catter is more agile,
but
and
I don't think
it's a.
Mad Catter has the lower ground. If I'm being honest.
I mean, it has the lower ground when it goes to the sides of Bronco, though.
I
Very
mean, yeah,
true.
but everyone does.
Yeah, but I mean, but Bronco is he's a very long boy, and like he's not the most agile robot because it's an older robot.
So up
Wow.
Bronco.
first, I don't think this was the first fight. I think Mad Catter and Adam 94 was the first fight, but who
No,
cares?
I actually think Rotator Exo was the first fight, if I
Oh, it
recall
was?
correctly.
Because
I
yeah, I
think
know
I
so.
at least in the, I know at least when I rewatched Mad Catter and Adam 94 recently, they were talking like that was the first fight, but who knows? So
I only know Chomp and the Chomp fight and the Captain Shredderator fight were not the first ones.
It's one of those two that is either this or uh, Cat or Adam.
who knows which one it is? But either way, we'll go with this one. So yeah, Rotator came in with their undercutter configuration and their wedgelets to try to get combo of getting underneath Axolotl and dishing out some heavy hits with that undercutter. Axolotl attached a low to the ground. I'm not sure what to call that exactly. Like, should it call it a wedge or wedgelet or some
I'd say
other
like a,
term or just attachment in general? Like, something that
I'd
was
say a,
quite different that actually really
oh,
helped them, like, get underneath Rotator at the beginning of this fight. And
Yeah.
so, might as well hear from you two on this fight now.
all right. Well, this was a sick fight. We got to see everything. We got to see Axolotl doing stuff. Finally,
Yeah.
we got to,
They held
we
up pretty good.
we got to see Rotator get a win. That wasn't a judge's decision. Finally,
They beat Big Dill and Jackpot by knockout.
I don't want to hear it.
Listen, friend.
Tantrum's
Listen,
going all the way.
friend.
Listen here, Buckaroo.
Uh,
But yeah, Rotator did good in this fight.
I think both of them did
Stat,
good in my opinion. Like Axolotl,
well,
this was their best performance of the season in my
I was,
opinion.
I was just about to say it's sad that Axolotl got better this late into the competition.
A lot of robots were like that, though.
Yeah,
Like Axe backwards was also kind of that way. At least
Deadlift.
at deadlift, Bale Spear.
Bale Spear, yeah. Bale Spear got a win. Well, we'll get to that. But yeah,
yeah.
Rotator is a beast, and they did very good. And Axolotl held their own very well in this fight.
Yeah, it looked like Axolotl could have come up with an upset. Looked like they were about to come up with an upset or something like that. But then, of course, when Rotator turned their horizontal spinner, decided that the wedgelets weren't really doing them any good because Axolotl's attachment was lower to the ground than Rotator's wedgelets. They went weapon on weapon, and off came two weapon belts that belonged to Axolotl, and that killed their weapon for the rest of the
Yeah,
fight. And yeah, and Axolotl ended up being a push bot where, yeah, once again they held their own until Rotator did enough damage to them that they stopped moving. And you get the idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still, excellent performance from both of these bots here. We got an entertaining battle between these two bots, and whether this was a lead-off fight or whether it was the second, third, or fourth fight of the episode, like it was a great one. So yeah, anything else from you two? Or should we get on to the next battle?
You can move on if you like.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Sharko and Captain Shredderator here. And I got a question here for you guys. Like, even though Sharko didn't come out with the win here, did you guys know? Well, I should say this is a two-part question. Like, do you guys agree with me that Sharko left the blue square too early in the match, like before the clock hit green, needing to start moving, or if you get what I'm saying by that. Like, it seemed like
Yeah.
Sharko left the box too early here. Do you think
I don't remember.
Battlebots should impose a rule or a penalty on something like that?
I
I don't
don't
think it
remember.
ma-
No.
I don't think it matters that much because Sharko lost, but
Like, if this happened in the future or something like that, do you think Battlebots should try to do something about it?
well, let's say this happens again, but then the bot that didn't that left the square early won, then yeah, I think there should be like some kind of disqualification or something to that. But like
By the way,
Sharko's
you're
still,
correct. Mad Catter Adam 94 was the first fight. I'm actually on the episode right now looking to see if Sharko left the square early.
That's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah, I'm double checking because I'm curious about this because I don't remember this.
Yeah.
but like
Personally,
I
I
Again,
don't.
I
don't really
discovered it.
care that much anyway, but I thought I'd mention that because I've like never seen something like that happening before. personally, I'm not bothered by it one bit. Honestly, like it was still like an
If
excellent fight, even though Sharko kind of got trashed in this
if
fight.
they had
No
gotten
offense, Sharko.
if they had gotten like a proper box rush and it would have affected the outcome of the fight, I feel like I would have been bothered by it. But like they didn't win, so
They
you know.
still got killed, so
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure they didn't box rush. I'll tell you in a second when this 5 hour Discovery Plus ad finishes.
5 hour Discovery Plus ad.
Discovery
I,
Plus is it's a cool service, but the ads are a pain in the ass because they like take like a year to go through, and then sometimes
any,
they like glitch out at the end.
They Battlebot
anyone else?
should add the bounties to to Amazon Prime,
Yeah, that'd be
Anyone
cool.
else? Anyone
but
else
not
hate the
separate
new?
from the main competition.
Well, that doesn't affect me because I have Discovery on demand.
Ready.
Nice. But yeah, I
Uh,
suppose Edward Robinson does like to go out in style, I believe, even stuff like that. And
oh
this was
yeah.
definitely that fight as Sharko got its tail got ripped off, took many big hits on the sides and even the front of that thing, and Captain Shredder just did not stop spinning in that. So
I
was
guess
definitely
you
a
could
great
say.
win from Captain Shredder here, and great showing for us.
I guess you could say he got shredded.
Hmm. Think if you worded
Oh
that
yeah,
or
he does.
accented that
He
a
does
little
do it. You're right.
differently.
Come
Sharko does leave
on,
the
man.
square at the yellow light,
Come on, you don't get the joke green. Wow.
but it didn't affect. Yeah, Sharko, take it.
Yeah,
I'm just
don't
sitting here
make a
watching
big
Battlebots
deal
turn to
about this,
Bronco.
civilian.
Oh, his
I don't
tail
want
came
to.
off. Nice. Let's go. Oh, another piece. Sorry, I'm watching BattleBots now.
I
Sharko's
wish
dead.
if there wasn't the possibility of copyright, I would have shown the video of this fight, but I don't
Ooh.
want BattleBots hunting me for copyright or anything like that, so that's why I didn't do that. And you get the idea. So
Okay, now my question for you guys about this fight. How did you what did you guys think of the promo before it with like Ed talking about selling his robot and stuff?
Well, Edward had hopes and dreams, and Brian Nave wanted to shred them all to pieces. So, yeah.
That doesn't have to do with the promo though. Brian Nave doesn't like throw Shredderator at him while he's being interviewed.
Wouldn't that be cool, though? He throws Captain Shredderator like a
Bro,
frisbee. Edward catch.
wow. No, he would have to do
Uh,
that with one of Bunny's foam throwers.
they
and
should talk
Throws
about.
a
Edward,
foam thrower at him.
while he's crying on camera, like he gets like something thrown at him. But yeah, I thought that was really sad. It made me sad.
Yeah.
It was ripperonis.
All right. Well, anything else on this battle here? Should we get to the next one?
We get to the
Big
next one.
deal.
Not a good picture, but the best one I could find. We got Adam 94 and Mad Catter. Battle between a vertical spinner and a multiple configuration bot who chose a vertical spinner for this battle. So I don't know what I'm hearing on Civilian Arc's end. Oh, never mind, he muted himself, so
Yeah, but yeah, this was a fun fight. I mean, Matt Catter was relentless. I'm about to watch him be relentless right now.
yeah. Yeah, Mad Catter just showed no mercy, including went in there for a few extra big hits on there. Not sure whether they were doing that just to make a statement for themselves, or if
And
they were doing that just to help their opponents go out in style, or whatever
probably a
it
little
is.
bit of both. I feel like the Adam 94 people probably didn't mind. There was probably like a low key thing behind the scenes where they were like, "Yeah, hit us again." But Martin Mason's also a showman. You know, he obviously plays like a character when he gets interviewed, and So it's not out of character for him to just like wail on a robot even after it's long dead. Like in this fight, ooh, that was a good hit.
Yeah, we saw lots of good hits. I see civilian arc still muted.
Yeah, ooh, that was a beautiful hit. No, don't hit
He's
Warcraft.
back now.
No, or Crazy Cat or whatever.
What do you think about this fight, civilian arc?
Ooh, what are you
Oh.
doing? Why is he laughing?
I think it's time to maybe mute civilian arc since I found out I have the ability for that. I was kidding.
Why? What's funny?
No, he's not muted here as of now. I chose not to do that.
Why? What's so funny? I don't even know what's so funny, but I'm laughing too.
Alright.
You good? You good, buddy?
Alright, I'll try.
Maybe there's a restaurant nearby civilian arc's place that cooks pizza in a toaster.
Yeah. That's how
Sure.
Civilian Art eats pizza, by the
Yeah,
way.
that
Everyone is
is how
watching.
civilian arc eats pizza.
Martin
Stop,
Mason's getting
fam.
interviewed. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Martin
Alright,
Mason.
so this was like, alright, so I didn't watch the Bronco Bounty until after the whole entire 2020 thing was over, like the postseason and end game killing Whiplash.
Yeah.
Um, so like I was like, okay, Mad Catter's gonna win this, but it's not gonna be like amazing or anything. But like, holy crap, was I wrong? Mad
Yeah.
Catter just just blew Adam 94 to pieces, or into atoms, if you will.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, I just watched a fight right now, and it's still glorious.
Uh,
Martin
it was a
Mason is
big,
still hilarious.
yeah.
Uh, well, anything else from you two on this battle, or should we get to the next fight?
Might as well do the next fight.
Next fight it is. Where I get to brag about predicting this fight right. We got Chomp and Bale Spear here. So
I underestimated them. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, Balespear drove this fight like a pro.
I would say the beginning was a little rough for them, but yeah, like what you said, Balespear definitely had some excellent driving moments that helped them win this battle, and we eventually saw a giant fireball from Chomp,
I
and
see the
then some
fireball right
smaller
now. Yep.
fireballs at times, and it was
Farmageddon!
it was quite a bit of fun to get to see Farmageddon get caused here, and yeah, I see Civilian Arcs muted.
He's probably
Pory,
still
should we
laughing.
roast him?
Oh, we always roast him.
Oh yeah, we always roast him.
I love
Story of
it.
my freaking life.
I like the funniest part of my favorite part about this fight is the fact that Earl embraced the Farmageddon. Like it was like a one-off thing that was said in like a science-only fight in season 3. But that's how people remember. They remember the Farmageddon, so he embraced it in this fight. He's yelling Farmageddon throughout the fight. I'm like, yes, it's great.
Armageddon fight.
Farmageddon.
That's pretty much what this was. Yeah, it was
I mean, it was
definitely
a
an
brilliant
excellent win
performance.
by a Bale Spear here. Is
I,
definitely a lot of people did not see this coming. I like to predict
Yeah,
upsets. I predicted this to be an upset, and I was
yeah.
fortunate.
out of
And while and pretty much here's what happens whenever I go with that strategy of trying to predict upsets. That's pretty much with every five that I predict, three of them leave me thinking, why the heck did I do this? Like my Endgame Perfect Phoenix pick or my Tombstone Quantum pick from 2019. And And then there are others where I was close. Like the bot I predicted to upset the other was close to winning that. That's probably one of those other five. And then there's the other one which I got right, and sure enough, this was one of those. And
Mhm.
Out of curiosity, because I don't think I was on the podcast for the predictions for this bounty, what made you pick Balespear?
uh, I kind of like. Let's see. I don't really have a thought process behind this one exactly. Like,
I just thought Balespear would.
yeah, this is one of those things where like my gut tells me to go the other way, where my mind tells me to go one way. My mind told me to pick Chomp, my gut told me to pick Bale Spear, and you get the idea then.
My mind's telling me no, but my body,
But then both of those but
body's
then both
telling
of
me
those told me
yeah.
to pick Perfect Phoenix over Endgame, even though that was completely wrong. And
Yeah,
sadly,
kind of like Tombstone versus Scorpios. Am I right, Pory?
what about
That's
Uppercut
not
and
that
Ribot?
surprising though. Like
What about Beta versus Ribot?
What about Jackpot and Rotator?
What about Tantrum and Sawblaze?
What about Chomp and Bale Spear?
What about Extinguisher and Gruff?
What about Black Dragon and Ribot?
usually when I predict fights, like when I predict like a fight card, usually I'll throw in like a really ridiculous prediction in there just so I can brag about it. Like trying to think of one. Like I predicted Sporkanock to beat Sub Zero. I predicted Gamma 9 to beat Tantrum.
Wow! I see how it is, Pory.
I like Gamma 9. Sue me. Um,
I will.
Boy, I
listen,
think Civilian Arc's gonna bring that one back, Pori. I think you might have dug yourself in a hole with that one.
Like I'm not
bring it back.
saying
I don't care. Gamma
I'm
9's
I'm not
sick.
saying I'm not saying I don't like I'm not saying I don't like Gamma 9, but come on, man.
Well, at that point, Tantrum hadn't really proven itself because it had a loss to Valkyrie by
But it
TKO.
kicked Valkyrie's ass.
Yeah, but it still got knocked out eventually, and then it beat Adam 94, which is the only robot that went 0-3 in Fight Night. So, I didn't have a lot to go off of at this point, and I want to
Uh,
believe in Gamma 9.
Come on, man.
Listen, Gamma 9 is cool. He's got the
But so is
dome.
Tantrum.
Tantrum doesn't have a dome.
That's a fist. That's even better.
No, it's not. It's not a dome.
What if it made a dome fist?
Then I would respect it.
So you don't respect Tantrum? I'm telling Aaron Hill that.
I
Corey.
respect it. I respect Tantrum. I'm just saying I like the dome.
Here, Civilian,
Dome is iconic.
you wanna know how I know Pori respects Tantrum?
I know what you're gonna base it off of.
Yeah, you know.
But
Yeah, I mean,
like,
Gonna have to
I
go
own a
get it.
wheel Tantrum.
I'm not.
This thing.
Yeah, I have mine. It's in the next room. I have like a Battlebots shelf that I'm working on.
One of the three parts I've acquired since I last did a podcast. I got a wheel from Tantrum. I don't know which fight it's from. Who knows? But either way, it
I think.
either
I
way,
think
fun to
they
get a
said it.
part from Tantrum.
And I got one too. It's with my BattleBots collection, which I'm in the process. I'm like, because there's like in the next room, there's like shelves in there that have a bunch of like old junk on it from like the '70s. So I'm just in the process of like clearing them out, showing my grandma like, hey, do you want this stuff? Or throwing it out. So I'm doing like a shelf a week or so, but eventually that whole thing is going to be BattleBots collectible. So far, I have two shelves going on, and the top one, of course, has like the best stuff, like the like the Doctor Inferno Junior Blendo RC car, like the calendar, and of course the jackpot and tantrum parts.
Where's your Tantrum wheel, Civilian?
How many times do I gotta tell you that I'm broke before the message kicks
Hey, I'm
in?
broke too. I'm a college student.
And I'm a high school student.
College is expensive. Like, government pays for most of high school.
High school is boring.
Who says college classes aren't boring too?
At
Some
least
of
you
my
guys have
classes are quite
dorms.
fun though.
You guys have dorms.
Captain Shredder.
Yeah. So, anything else on Chomp and Balesphere?
Uh,
Uh,
good showing on Balesphere. Farmageddon prevailed, and I'm very proud of them for doing that. It was a beautiful performance.
Good job to me
yeah,
for picking this one right.
good
Wow.
job. I don't want to hear it.
Listen, man.
Come on,
At
man.
least I have one of these.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, you're not three. You're not 4-3 in robotics yet, so
Heh. I did get one. I did get a win today at least, and yeah,
you didn't get a rumble win.
yeah, because we didn't do any rumbles at this competition. It was all one-on-one matchups, and
Which one? Which robot did you beat?
I beat a Hammerbot,
Oh, okay, cool.
and all right. So then we got Balespear and Mad Catter next, and this was Mad Catter being relentless part 2 in this bounty here. As Mad Catter got a ton of big hits on Bale's Spear that disabled it, and they continued to come in for more, including they took out their own mini bot in this fight too. Fortunately, Crazy Cat returned to the arena once again for their next battle, and
They
yeah,
messed up Crazy Cat in the Adam 94 fight too. They took off like 2 wheels of it.
I don't remember that, but you're probably right on that.
I
So
just watched it like 2 minutes ago. So
yeah, then you're definitely right about that. So
this Crazy Cat was just kind of in ball underneath Adam 94, and he just hit both of them at the same time, pretty much. But yeah,
So,
this
what do you guys think of this battle then? Since I kind of gave the summary.
you want to go civilian?
Go first.
What?
You can go for first story. You know what they say. Bot that eats things like championship.
I don't know what
I think your
Civilian's
internet's
saying.
a
It's
little
breaking up.
fuzzy, civilian,
Yeah,
because
you're buzzing up.
Am I? Wow, that's
Oh, huge hit, Mad Catter.
that's not cool.
how is it not cool when we're telling the truth?
Oh yeah,
Come
yeah, he
on,
messed up
man.
Crazy Cat real good in that one.
What I was saying is the person who thinks that a certain bot will win the championship, but clearly won't, can go first. So you can go first, Corey.
Oh,
I don't want to hear
I
it.
thought that was
Ribeye
pointed
is going
towards
all
me
the way.
for picking Endgame to lose in the first round of my bracket. And I
Ooh,
was
that
gonna say
was
I
that
kind of
was
already did that.
Yeah, Mad Catter. I mean, I'm watching it. I'm literally watching it right now. Mad Catter like really took it to Balesphere. Like Balesphere is like smoking. Its guts are out. It looks like it's leaking the pneumatic fluid or whatever the fluid is. There's like fluid leaking on the floor. Like they messed him up real good, and they did take out Crazy Cat way more in this fight than they did in the last one. This Crazy Cat's guts were all over the place too. But yeah, it was a good fight on Mad Catter's part for sure. I mean, Baleshire didn't really like they added one wedge to the side because they didn't have the weight to add them to both sides. But even if they had added both of them, I feel like they wouldn't have had much of an advantage.
What do you
Yeah.
got, civilian?
Uh, well, Ed kind of did what it did last fight. It tore its opponent to pieces. And you gotta put an F in the chat for Farmageddon because
Yeah,
there were
it
there
was
was there was a lot of Armageddon, but there wasn't a lot of farm.
yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of Armageddon, but not in exactly the way Balespear was hoping for, as they were looking for Farmageddon, and sadly we didn't get that like what we got in the last fight. And yeah, Mad Catter ended up advancing with a relatively easy knockout.
See, the thing is, stuff got real in the fight if Trey Roski puts on a mask and goes in there and has to extinguish the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
They didn't even bring extinguisher. That's so disrespectful. Come on.
Come on, man.
Extinguisher should be a house robot for next season with the
Every time,
extinguisher on it.
every
There was that
time a bug.
there was that one episode. I think it was a season 2 fight where like there was like a robot that was on fire. I want to say it was probably Complete Control versus Warhead. And at the end of the fight, after the fight, they show like a clip of like a little RC like fire engine going into the arena, and then it like sprays the fire. I don't know if you remember that fight. I think it was a season 2 fight, if I recall correctly.
I remember there was a moment where a fire truck came in. I don't remember if it was that fight or not.
It might not have been that fight, but there was a fight where like the robot was on fire, and like they took a little RC fire truck and sprayed the robot with
For
it.
some reason,
I
I
don't,
feel
I
like
don't know
Monsoon
anybody.
and Petunia had that, but
That's
I
that
could
might
be
actually be
wrong.
right. You might be correct on that.
So, anything else on this battle, or should we get to Rotator and Captain Shredderator?
I'm on Rotator versus Captain Shredderator now. I'm excited to talk about this one.
Yes, same here. But
This is
sadly, I wasn't able to find an image from this battle. Unfortunately, I this is a fight where I feel like I should have been able to find one, but no. Like everywhere I would typically search for images, like there was nothing on this fight. So, which is kind of
and
disappointing to me, but whatever. So,
yes, Pete just said Butte. Let's go.
but what I'm probably gonna
Wait,
say
what?
first, following Pory saying that he's excited to talk about this one, I think out of all 6 bounties, this was my favorite fight of all 6 bounties.
I completely agree.
Like that was an awesome fight between those two. Like
It
And I
had
liked.
everything. It had a good
I
back
like.
and forth. It had good hits from both of them. It had Pete Abramson saying Butte. Like it had everything.
yes,
I liked. I like Copperhead versus Unit Corner. Really interests me.
I mean, that was a good one.
yeah, it was a good fight, and but yeah, this one was pretty much a major slugfest between those two. Like weapon on weapon,
Yeah.
whether it was weapon on weapon action between Rotator's spinner or in Captain Shredder's spinner, or Rotator hitting Captain Shredder with their backside trying to slow
The
down
boot,
their spinner. Like
the Butte.
there was so much stuff coming from both of these bots here. As I know, Captain Shredder lost a few teeth on their lost a tooth or two on their spinner, which gave them a little bit of trouble. But then, sure enough, like yeah, yeah. Now as we saw Rotator go flying quite a few times, but then I think it was like the last minute to the last 30 seconds where Shredder's spinner died and
Yeah.
left them with just a non-spinning full body spinner, and Rotator kind of went to work. And honestly, I think Captain Shredder would have won that fight if their weapon didn't die there, in my opinion. Of course, though, you guys
Yeah.
could
I agree
differ
with
with
that.
me.
If they
I
had
agree with
if they had
that.
lasted the whole fight, like if their spinner had lasted and they'd gotten like a few more hits, I probably would have given it to the Shredderator for sure.
But still, you gotta give
Yeah.
Captain Shredder a lot of credit though for lasting as
Oh
long
yeah.
as it did. It like
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
we've
yeah.
never seen Blacksmith, or we've never seen Captain Shredder last like that full body spinner last that long. Like for example,
Oh yeah. It gave.
Blacksmith, which I named right there. Like the spinner died like not too long into the fight. Same thing with who are a few of their other opponents where this was the case. Petunia. Uh,
Petunia was more of what Petunia did. It wasn't like reliability problems. Petunia punctured the spinner.
Juan Hu.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wanhu as
Wanhu
well.
was one though.
But but
Because
yes,
Captain
that's just
Shredder,
that's just
like
a
they
lot more proof that Shredder's durability was like the real deal this season compared to like the past few seasons where it was problematic for them.
yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely gave Rotator a run for its money.
yeah, this I feel like this year is the start of Shredemption. I feel like if they can tweak their reliability issues just a little bit more, I feel like they could go really far
I
because they
Yeah,
do
completely
have a
agree
like
with
pretty
that.
terrifying robot. And I mean, I love Captain Shredderator. I mean, his spinner died, rip. But like in a lot of fights, like even dating back to the olden days, like uh, Team Logicon with their spinners, they have a really deadly spinner, but like they'll stop spinning. Like Frisbee Ultimate versus Iceberg, they were like ripping pieces off of Iceberg. Then their spinner died, and then Iceberg managed to capitalize on that. Like it's been a historical thing for them, where they know how to make a robot that can do damage, but once they stop spinning, then it's pretty much done for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, how would you guys have scored this judge's decision here? Now, is this
uh,
Rotator won it for sure.
damage 3-2 rotator just because Captain Shredderator lost his weapon, but rotator was still taking big shots from it.
Yeah.
Control. I'd actually say Captain Shredderator 2-1, just because it had rotator up in the air a lot of times. So I'd actually give it to Captain Shredderator for that.
Yeah.
Aggression, I'd say 2-1 rotator. So I think that's
It's like
I want to say
six to
that's the
five.
6 to yeah. I want to say that's 6-5 rotator.
yes? And
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm pretty much the exact same way as Civilian Arc here.
yeah.
As damage, I scored that 3-2 for Rotator. Was relatively even until Shredderator lost their full body spinner, where I think Rotator took over on that category. Yeah, as for
Yeah.
control, Rotator was getting sent flying many times just because
Mhm.
of Shredderator's design for that full body spinner. Like, if an undercutter like Rotator goes weapon on weapon with something like that, they're likely to go flying, and that was the case in quite a few of these big hits. So, yeah, I would definitely give Shredderator an edge on that category because of that, and yeah, I'd give Rotator an edge on aggression in there as they just did not stop coming at Shredderator, whether it was with the spinner or with their bootay, and
Okay.
and yeah,
Hey.
just kept going. And this was an impressive performance out of both bots in this one. Like, I'd love to see a rematch between those two.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. That would be fun.
So yeah, anything else on this bell? Got anything, Pory, since this is one you were looking forward to?
No, it pretty much covered everything I needed to cover. It's just was a lot of fun. It was a super good fight.
Yeah, I agree. Best fight of the bounty series, in my opinion, because I know one person in this podcast disagrees with that. Not that that's a problem at all.
Like it was a
Wow.
it was a great fight. I just feel like Copperhead versus Gigabyte was
It was a good. That was a
Yes,
good pick though.
that one would
Definitely.
be in my top three. I'm not sure whether it would be second or
like
third place, but it's
there were a
definitely
lot
up
of
there.
big exchanges in that fight.
Next up, you can't see it very well, but this was the best image I could get of Mad Catter and Rotator here. So I'm going to lead it off with this question for you guys. As for like Mad Catter's reliability problems and stuff, do you think that was karma from them beating up on Adam 94, Bale Spear, and even their mini bot the way they did?
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. I think there was a little editing going on in the system. I think Mad Catter destroyed Rotator, but then after they rewatched the entire episode, like got like the creator of BattleBots went to Discovery and was like, "Hey, we gotta edit Rotator versus Mad Catter." So like they made it look like Rotator beat Mad Catter, but in reality, Mad Catter actually beat Rotator.
Just like in the Copperhead Mammoth fight.
Never watched that fight. Never have. Never will.
Yep. But yeah, that was an impressive showing from Rotator here. Now, as they came in here once again the same configuration they had for the fight with Axolotl, and Rotator had a very impressive performance. Now, as last season and even this season as well, like they've had so much trouble with the vertical spinners, and they were able to effectively take it to a vertical spinner and win this one too. And
Yeah,
yeah, so thoughts on this battle from the both of you? Well, we already know what Civilian Arc thought of this one.
Yeah,
rip,
the
rip
chatter
crazy,
one.
rip crazy cat's wedge.
That too.
I'm just watching it right now, but yeah, this was definitely a fun fight, and Rotator definitely is relentless. I mean, and I thought Mad Catter was going to win this fight. Like that was my bet to win the bounty, but
But like
Rotator proved.
I thought Rotator was gonna win, but like take severe damage, and that was gonna affect them going into the bounty. So basically, I predicted Rotator to beat Mad Catter, and then Bronco to beat Rotator.
I picked Rotator to win both the battles with Mad Catter and Bronco, which
Wow,
sealed my 16-0 deal with these two bounties.
let's be honest.
Ooh, that was a good hit. Yeah, Rotator like the one thing that bums me out about this fight is the fact that this fight was spoiled. Like, because early on, like,
Well, I
I
mean,
forget like Battlebots itself, but like they posted a picture of Mad Catter versus Rotator,
Wait,
and
really?
then eventually,
are you that?
yeah, yeah, that was a thing.
I honestly had no
I mean,
clue about
are
that.
we that?
Hmm?
Are we that surprised that this was the final though? In reality,
No, I'm not surprised, but it's still, I still rather not see a picture of the final. You know, like obviously, I'm not surprised that Gigabyte made it to Son of Waiachi, but at the same time, I want the suspense
like
of thinking like, oh, maybe
that.
Gigabyte will get beaten. You know,
Well, that did kind of surprise me.
like it's just, and on top of that, when Discovery Plus initially dropped like 4 or 5 of the 6 bounty episodes, the because they split it into 2 episodes. The first episode has like the first 4 fights, and then the second one has the second 4 fights. And the thumbnail for the second one for like 4 or 5 of the episodes was like a screenshot of the final. They're like, I'm clicking on, I'm like, oh, time for bounty episode number 2, and there's like a picture of like Bronco fighting Rotator, and I'm like, and
Bro,
thankfully I avoided it for like I avoided it for Icewave, and I think they fixed it for Tombstone, and they fixed it for what's the one that dropped alongside Tombstone?
yeah,
Vita. Yeah, they
yeah.
didn't do it for. I don't think they did it for those, but then they did it again for the next 2. But I thankfully didn't pay attention to the thumbnails, and it wasn't spoiled for me. Thank God. But
I
they
had
were
the
really
two
bad
hour.
about spoilers this year.
I had the 2 hour version of it, so it didn't have a thumbnail with that.
Yeah, I think it was just on Discovery Plus, and it's like they just have like a picture of like the final, and I'm like, dude, why would you do that? And apparently,
Jeez,
BattleBots got really upset with that too.
how they should.
But yeah, this was a good fight, and even if it was spoiled, there's definitely a lot of fun to watch. And Rotator is a beast.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
I could say it was bad.
They don't get it.
Bad catter.
Think I was taking that seriously. Ugh. Next fight it is here, unless if you two got anything else or just object to that. I hear no objections, so it's time for the legend battle where we got Rotator and Bronco here. So,
Yeah.
the overall summary of this one, Rotator got a 1 in a million shot in this one, quote unquote, for Chris and Kenny here, and disabled Broncos flipper here. Managed to hit the right place, like on the tippy top of that flipper here, which disabled it for the rest of the fight, and left Bronco with charging into Rotator with their wedge, which gotta give Bronco a lot of credit for that, like how well they held up to Rotator, even though they lost a big piece of their side armor or out of it.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on this, Bell, from the two of you?
Okay, so yeah, I would say I'd definitely say that that hit they got that disabled the flipper definitely. I wouldn't say 1 in a million maybe, but that's definitely not an easy shot to achieve. But I mean, Bronco drove it pretty good. They thankfully didn't use the poingers. Like, there wasn't much they could do really since they couldn't flip. It was kind of their fight to lose at that point.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad about this because I didn't want to see Bronco. Like you, I wanted to see some flipping chaos from Bronco.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
honestly hoping to see a flipper too from Bronco's flipper in this battle. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if they're planning on returning with this design, or if they're planning to work on a new design or something else like that. But
What I hear is that they're trying to make it look like a biohazard.
Where'd you hear that?
My mind.
I have heard that if they
well,
do
civilians'
return this
mind is
season,
fake
they
news.
if they do return this
Of
season,
course
it
it is.
probably will be a complete redesign, which they honestly probably need because it is a bit of a dated design. I don't know about Biohazard. I don't really believe that, but I
Come
I
on,
also heard of
man.
I also heard a rumor though that they might be coming to BattleBots because somebody told me that they might be coming to BattleBots, but not with Bronco. And I'm thinking my thought process is that Reason Bradley and Xander Rose might show up with Lucky next season
Which that would
because they
make
did
sense in my opinion.
they kind of teased helping Lucky out last season, but Lucky couldn't come obviously because they're from Canada and COVID and all that. But from what I hear, they might show up with Lucky. Don't quote me on that because I could be very incorrect on that, but that's what I hear.
I'm blaming you if you're wrong.
You can blame me. That's fine. I could very well be wrong.
Imagine we watched Lucky win a championship because Xander and Reason are there.
That'd be a pretty good glow up though.
Yeah, it
Once
would
we
be honestly. Uh,
To
so,
get a Lucky and Tantrum rematch.
so what do you guys think of the judge's decision for this battle?
Uh,
I mean, Bronco
damage.
definitely won.
Just freaking all 5 points can go to Rotator.
Yeah.
Maybe 4-1, just because Rotator. Maybe if it like took off a wheel or something, then I'd say 5 points. But I don't think Rotator did that much to save the team sweep, even though Bronco didn't do much either. Um,
Bronco did like no damage though. I'm watching it right now. Bronco's pretty much just pushing it around with its back.
roll 2-1 Bronco and aggression 2-1 Rotator. So yeah, Rotator.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only swap is like I gave basically I'll just go one by one. Damage, I'm giving a clean sweep for Rotator in that one. Like they did pretty much all the damage, both disabling Bronco's flipper along with removing a big piece of side panel, which left three of their four wheels exposed. Even though coming into the fight, two of those wheels were exposed, but you get the idea. And
Yeah.
aggression and control, I'm going with both of them 2-1 for Bronco. Like Bronco was still being very aggressive with that wedge, even with a disabled flipper, and they were controlling the fight very well, and they were giving Rotator quite a bit of trouble well during parts of that, and I give Bronco a lot of credit for that one.
Oh yeah.
But of course, though, that wouldn't be enough because that'd be a 7-4 score for Rotator, and yeah. So yeah, anything else from you guys on this one, or should we close out this podcast?
I guess we could close off the podcast.
Did I ever tell you guys that went 16-0 on these two brackets?
No.
Yes, Green, you have. You're just jealous because I got the beta bounty right. And the
You're just
witch
jealous
doctor.
because I got these two bounties right, which
You're
happened
jealous that
before the
I was.
beta bounty.
You're jealous that I was able to predict that Sub Zero would be the bounty hunter.
Except though that still doesn't work because these two bounties happened first. So you're the one that's jealous.
How am I jealous?
It's because
I'm
these two bounties
vibing.
happened first. How can I be jealous of?
I'm vibing.
You're just jealous because you trash talked about how badly Black Dragon was going to beat Ribot, and then Black Dragon crushed Ribot. No
You're
offense,
just
David Jin.
jealous.
I love Ribot.
We're
You're
going
just
all the way
jealous.
next season.
You're just jealous of how much you trashed Tantrum versus Sawblaze, and then Tantrum murdered Sawblaze.
It wouldn't be murdered, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
definitely did win. But then that trash talk was nothing compared to Black Dragon and Ribot. I should pull up that video and edit in
I'm
part of
pretty
that.
sure even I'm pretty sure anyone watching. Okay, viewers, if you are listening to me right now, watch the episode 13 podcast we did and see which was worse. Green and Pory trash talking Tantrum when it was gonna fight Sawblaze, or me and Pory trash talking Black Dragon when it was gonna fight Riba. We'll let you guys decide.
Fair enough. We'll let the
There.
viewers decide if they would like to. And yeah. So yeah, I think that is all from us here today. Was definitely great to be back doing these podcasts once again. I will
oh,
hopefully see you for the next podcast where we will do the Tombstone bracket and the Beta bracket. So, see you
yeah.
next time.
Take care.